Minister, in relation to the budget, I think the biggest people to suffer here were the working man and woman, and that's the way they feel. Some people have said to me that even if they stayed at home and were on welfare, they'd come out a hell of a lot better off than they would for the man and the woman that was working hard every day of the week. They're being hit in every which way they can, hit with fuel increases, hit with hospitality VAT increases. They have to take the hit on everything, which is difficult. But I'd like to start maybe more on today on agriculture. And we've seen with the nitrates and the disaster that this government led ourselves into nitrates, both Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. You have a senator in West Cork hopping and jumping and shouting now, but it's 12 months too late. He should have been doing all his talk about the nitrates at that time. And what we should have got in the budget was a proper compensation, because farmers, we were telling you long enough, if you're going to agree with what you agreed with the nitrates, you're going to lead to a cull in cattle. And what did you do? He backed the European Union as always and let the farmer hang out to dry. As such, each and every farmer tells me they're being treated like environmental terrorists, thanks to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. Of course, keeping in tow with the Greens and keeping them on board. You could have called, Minister, it's your job in the budget, at least if farmers have to cull their cattle, that there's a sufficient funding there for them to do so. What do you think? A farmer with 100 cows is going to have to cut down to 80 cows and there's no compensation there? We were told by your politicians in West Cork to hang on for the budget and see what will come from it. There's nothing came from the budget. In relation to fisheries, you had a minister, you had a Taoiseach and a Taoiseach who spoke 45 minutes in the Dáil the day of the budget. Not one mention of fisheries in the budget. Not one mention of fisheries. Now we know why. There's a 47% reduction in the fisheries budget this year. So last year it was a decommissioning great deal he got for him, get rid of them of course. Same with the farming, this year it'll be decommissioning, that's all you're doing. You're famous for that, is get rid of your farmers, get rid of your fishermen. This is what Fine Gael stand for now. Once they stood for some kind of principles, but they stand for no principles now. You look at the health budget and the embargo that's after coming out, and my worry is that's going to affect a lot of elderly people, people that need home help and need other services won't be able to get the services now. That's an astonishing situation that people are going to find themselves in. And where is the budget in relation to cancer? Cancer Connect, I see recently, there's no minister. Who am I talking to?
To deal with a personal issue.
Oh, sorry, that's right, I understand. And the Cancer Connect situation, there was a promise last year that there'd be at least 50,000 given to West Cork Cancer Connect. That Cancer Connect has delivered to the people of this country on so many fronts over the last number of years, and they've got no funding from the government, absolutely no funding, leading to people like Lachine. I was down in Lachine there a few weeks ago. They're doing a fundraising, raising tens of thousands of euros, voluntary capacity. Where is the funding that was promised by Fianna Fáil to the Cancer Connect that was ran out of West Cork and has worked throughout the country? Where has that, and why hasn't the funding become available? The hospitality sector, Minister, these are people, the hairdressers, you have the cafe owners, the restaurant owners, who have gone from a 9% to 13% in that little mini budget that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the Greens introduced in September. They were hoping, they were keeping their fingers crossed that at least there'd be some kind of mercy. I was talking to a lady with a cafe not so far away from here in the Dáil last week, and she said the minimum wage has gone up, the VAT increase has gone up, and she said we can't keep shoving that to the customer because the customers are stopping coming in. So there's a real crisis there that the government really didn't look at, and they've left their hairdressers, left the cafe owners, left the restaurant owners down. Again, I'll be talking later on about the childcare, early childcare here in the Dáil at a later stage tonight at around 11 o'clock, because they're in serious crisis. But another issue that we in the Rural Independent Group, we put together a fine, as you can see here, document in relation to the budget, the VAT and insulation products. This is a chance. This is where the Greens should be delivering, instead of their old dictation that they have done and shoving on the price of fuel and dictating to the Irish about their farms and how they should run their farms. They should have introduced an a complete no VAT on insulation products. They've done something on the solar panels, but not on all insulation products. Do you want to encourage people to insulate their homes, or do you not? That's basically what it comes down to, and unfortunately this is the situation they find themselves in, that people are paying massive VAT and can't afford to buy the insulation products. The road budget, it's astonishing here, and Deputy Danny Healy really mentioned about the LIS in Kerry, and I can relate to the same in Cork. the local involvement scheme. The funding is not there. I have people going absolutely, they're irate with me that they can't get funding for to do their road. They're willing to pay a certain contribution themselves, and this is a scandalous situation that people find themselves in, that there is no money available. They'll do 1 or 2 roads here and 1 or 2 roads there. It's outrageous, and it cannot be allowed, and it cannot be allowed to continue. But there's in relation to our roads budget needs to be doubled. We need roadside workers back on the road, local authorities funded to put them back on the road and to clear the dikes and clear the drains. If drains are blocked, water can only stay one place, and that's in the middle of the road, and that's what's happening in the last number of years. That never happened before. And somebody said to me and made a very interesting point: you can't cut verges now. You lose 4 feet of roadway every year, and you can't cut verges. And when you can cut them, it cuts them in September, October. And when people cut the verges, where does the grass go? It just dies on top of the drains. Whereas if it was allowed to be cut in June, July, the grass would die away on the ditch and wouldn't fall on the roadside and block more drains. So you see, common sense is not working in this. And we must talk about the flooding budget. And I have great respect for the people of Middleton. But like this, all the sympathy in the world, every time it happens, Bandon happens, Skibbereen happens, do people have to lose their homes almost before you wake up and realise, oh good God, there's an issue here, we better do something to look after it. So flooding, I see people in Ballinhassig have been on to me the last few days. There's flooding gone into their homes. They showed me pictures of it. It's outrageous. And there is solutions, and there's nobody willing to work on the solution. I would also like, in a little time, I'd like to talk about people's pensions, older people getting reviews of their pensions. Is this where you're going to get the money now to pay for the world? Is to the elderly people in this country? Their pensions have been absolutely cut and slashed and looked into and investigated. Terrifying. Elderly people in this country. We have, and our young people, you know, we talk about Section 39 as an issue, but our young people, I met somebody the other day that told me that there's 26 trainees in the Clonakilty Bandon area, and there is 19 of them after telling him that they're going to immigrate out of this country. Imagine 19 out of 26. Look, I can't go any further. Thank you very much.